Hey guys, it's me Anna Ease, and I am going to give you a quick BookTube-a-thon update. Oh, I just made this tea and it's kind of a cool morning, so it feels nice. Alright, so it was a lofty goal. It was a very lofty goal of reading all of those books in 1 week. I read 3 of them, so I'm going to count that as a win. I read Lilian, Oake, and Ogre's Tale. And that is a really classic feeling fairy tale that she wrote. It feels like a Brothers Grimm tale, like from a different century, but in the best way. Anyway, so I really enjoyed that. And then I also read J.D. Estrada's poetry collection. And as always, I always love reading his poems. There's always lines that really stand out to me. And I really enjoy that, and I know him and I'm friends with him, so that kind of enhances the experience because he's a very he outwardly gives so much friendship and happiness, and talking to him is like getting a hug, right? And then you read his poetry and then you see this whole inner world, and it's kind of like a gift, you know? Because you don't often get invited into somebody's inner world in life. It's hard, and I understand that because even if I'm telling something that seems to be a dark thing, usually it's not the thing that is the closest, most emotional thing to my heart that I don't share, you know? But through poetry you get to have that. So with that, it kind of blends right into the other poetry book that I read by Sharon Donovan, Your Enzymes Are Calling the Ancients. And that book blew me away because it was so interesting and lyrical, and I could hear music playing in my head as I was reading it, which was really cool. Just kind of like experimental, crazy. Like for me, I'm imagining just banging on the piano and making noise, and but it's very layered, and there's a lot of meaning there and context, and I think that I'm going to go back and read it. I know that I'm going to read it again because I'm sure that there is a whole other side that I missed when I was focusing on one aspect of the poems. So that's cool. I did start reading on a 4th book. That is The 12 Caesars by Michael Grant. It had a 25-page introduction, which was pretty interesting. It was talking about all the people, the royal scribes and secretaries that were around there, recording, and how much of it is gossip, probably, but we don't really know. Just a lot of historical background before he started diving into each Caesar as an individual. So if you're somebody like me that likes history and stuff like that, then it's a good book. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm going to. Let's see. So that's all the books that I read this week. I did not finish all of them yet. And then what else did I do? I wrote a little short story, and I called it, let me make sure that isn't that funny? I have to look up my own title. That's how it goes, right? So basically I didn't watch it. I listened to a podcast, the Rail Splitter podcast that had yakumo, della, kwacha on it, and I'm sure that if you've been watching my videos, you know how much I freaking love his books. I love his books so much. I swear to God, they are so good. And anyway, he was on the podcast talking about one of his books, and so they were kind of joking, I think, saying, well, how about we give homework to the people who are listening and have them write a creative fiction piece about some of your characters, and then you can grade them. So me being me, I already had ideas in my head because when I read The Great Abraham Lincoln Pocket Watch Conspiracy, I fell in love with especially Archie Butt, and he is a real life guy. You can look him up, and I freaking loved him in the book. I loved him so much, and so I already had these ideas in my head for him. So I wrote one down, and it was Archie and Francis and Too Much Wasted Vermilion. So the funny thing is that I found out afterwards that Francis always went by the name Frank, but I did say it was historical fiction. The fiction is that he was being called Francis in the story. Sorry about that. The other thing, I wrote 2 songs this week. I wrote Codex, which is like a really kind of bang on the piano and wail it like a siren type of song. And then I wrote a cheeky song about, it's called Stupid Crush Song. So yeah, it's about having stupid crushes and not being able to articulate when you're around that person that you're really into them, because you get all tongue-tied and embarrassed, and oh, it sucks, especially if you think they're so clever, which is usually, you know, if I ever had a crush on somebody in the past, it was because I thought that they had the most clever brain, you know, and I was into them. So anyway, so that's what that song is about, and I thought that was just funny, and so that's what I did this week. And then I am wearing my most Canadian hat, and I am drinking Canadian tea from a Canadian mug because I woke up this morning and Bright Needles, my book, is number 10 on the Amazon best-selling list for Canadian poets. And that is pretty much a dream come true, to be in the top 10 with Leonard Cohen, who is my hero as far as, well, so much is concerned. I adore that guy. I definitely am influenced and inspired by his work a lot. And so to see my little book, my humble little book next to his amazing freaking works of art is very humbling and happy, and I put on my hat. Alright, so that is the BookTube-a-thon update. I know I'm not going to finish them all on time, but I will eventually read all of those books that I said I was going to read. Good tea. Alright, well, I am going to have this wonderful tea now. I hope that you're having a great day, and yeah, thank you to everybody who helped put my book up there, so I appreciate it so much. Thank you, and have a great day. Goodbye.